How's it going, Elevation Nation? Sam, welcome back to my apartment in New York City in our makeshift virtual studio. I guess it's not really makeshift because I record every episode here.
It's not virtual either.
It's not virtual anymore. Just letting you know, when you want to speak, you got to take the microphone. But I have this talking stick right now, just letting you know. We only got one microphone. Sam was supposed to bring his other microphone, but he didn't, so... This is a Fortitude 15 that we have to record because we're together, and it will be very fun. It is Thursday, April 10th. It is the first day of the Masters. Who you got winning it?
Jon Rahm.
Jon Rahm. Interesting. Okay. He's a previous winner a couple years back. I think that Rory McIlroy finally takes the cake. Never been able to get over the hump, but you know what? It's now or never, I think, for him. Otherwise, Elevation Nation... Many of you who are tuning in, who have been with us since the beginning back in 2020, you know what we're about. You know why we build Elevation Nation. You know what we are doing on a consistent basis. But, Sam, we have a lot of new followers on the Instagram, on the LinkedIn. We have new followers as well on the YouTube. Fun fact. And we have a bunch of people that we've welcomed to the nation. So we want to take this time to reintroduce ourselves, tell you a little bit more into the origin story of Elevation Nation, why we built it in the first place, and why we're still on this journey 5 years later. So here you go, Sam. Break it down for us. Get us going.
It is lovely to be together in New York City, in the studio, with my best friend Parker, talking origin story of Elevation Nation. We've had the opportunity to speak to thousands of young people across, probably close to 2,000. 3,000? 4,000? Parker's doing math in his head.
Do you count people who've listened to the podcast?
Yeah. All right. We'll go 3,000 plus.
Wait. You're counting people who have just tuned into one episode?
Yeah.
Dude, we're way higher than this month.
That's what I was.
Oh, okay. I think in total.
Oh, no.
Yeah, probably around 3,000, maybe a little bit more.
Not math, guys. We've spoken to and influenced and elevated the mindsets of lots of people. How's that? Lots. And we're excited to reintroduce ourselves. A lot of new people joining in, tuning to the pod. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sam Panitch, co-founder of Elevation Nation with my best friend here, Parker Yablon. And we started Elevation Nation because we were desperate for a change in our mindset, for a change in perspective, and for a way out of the rut that we were feeling as young adults entering the real world for the first time. So we decided to do something about it. We brainstormed, we got together, and we started to figure out what were those missing pieces that we needed as adults now in the real world. And we cracked the code. We realized that every single young person needs this concept that we call mental fortitude. Knowing who you are at your core, knowing your vision of where you want to go, and what fuels you, what drives you, and what inspires you there. Those three pieces make up mental fortitude, and we've now taken that mantra, that framework, to thousands of people around the globe, from students in high school and college, to recent graduates, to CEOs, entrepreneurs, and athletes. Everybody is using their mental fortitude to conquer the real world.
Thanks for your speech, Sam. I really appreciate all the pauses and enunciations. I think you gave everyone such a great background of what we're doing and why we're doing it. But I really do want to talk a little bit more about back in 2020 when we first started this thing, where it came from. For those of you who don't know, actually, Elevation Nation was a previous company called Hired You that Sam and I started literally right after we graduated college. We did it for a year and a half, I think. And it was all about helping college kids navigate the job and internship process. And what we realized is that we got really bored very quick reviewing resumes and talking and coaching people on how to crush the interview. And so COVID hit, and Sam and I remember very vividly in March 2020, we had to go home. We had to go home with our family. And for those of you listening, I'm sure you did something very similar, and you had a lot of free time on your hands. So Sam and I, with all the free time that we had, is every night my mom would remember, I'd post up on the dinner counter, and I'd say, hey, Sam, let's talk about our business idea. What's it going to be? What's it going to look like? We're really feeling lost more than ever right now. What is something that you and I need right now in this moment? And to Sam's point, we had gotten into a car and drove to a condo. And we walked out of that weekend at the condo saying, you know what? We didn't figure out the meaning of life, but we have this idea that we need mental fortitude. And so we set out in March to build what is now Elevation Nation. And what would it even look like to help people get mental fortitude? I know we wrote a program. We wrote a bunch of exercises. I know you like created like a dance. You want to talk us through that?
It was not a dance. When we were thinking through this framework and how to make it stick, how to make it stand out, we came across this analogy of a compass being the guiding tool to help you as a young adult entering the real world. And so we had the north side of the compass, the south, the east, and the west side, each meaning one part of mental fortitude at the time. And I said, well, how are people going to remember that? Well, maybe we'll have them literally, when we speak to them, take one step forward, and that's yourself. Take one step to the east. That's your vision. And so Parker and I are taking steps around this room going, yeah, like that's awesome. Wow, that solidifies it. That moves people. Thank God we didn't go with that. But it was fun. It was a good idea. I spent 3 months coding an Elevation Nation app for us. That was a waste of time. What a horrible idea. But I learned a lot about myself, that I need to be busy at all times or I feel like a bad person.
So we moved past the app. We moved past Sam's little dance that we definitely spent way too much time talking about. And we came up with the concept of mental fortitude, and we bogged it down into 3 pieces: knowing who you are, knowing what you want, and knowing what inspires you, or what we call fuels you. And so after we decided the dance wasn't the move, we were like, you know what? We're going to put some exercises together to help people learn more about who they are, what they want, and what fuels them. And that would give them the mental fortitude that they need so that they can get through the challenging and tough times, whether it be COVID at the time or even starting a new business, or, you know, you want to do some type of marathon or physical feat or whatnot. And so knowing that we had the foundation of everything, this was our philosophy, our theory that we put together. We're like, all right, how are we going to help people now? And that was where we landed on a podcast. And I will tell you, Sam did not want to do the podcast.
No, I wanted to do it. But I didn't want to show my face. And I wanted you to change my voice.
You basically wanted to record a podcast with just me, record it, and then not release it to anyone. So it's not really a podcast. It's more of a
recorded conversation.
There you go. Recorded conversation. I never forget, we posted up in my old bedroom in DC, and we recorded a very long conversation on very different, without different mics, different camera.
We took Parker's lamp and we laid it on his bed facing us as our light. It looked pretty bad.
And you can listen to the episode right now. The first Sam doesn't want you to listen, but I encourage you to listen because it shows that we've been on this mission and we're very passionate about this mission for 5 years now. I will say the conversation is a little all over the place. We're definitely novices behind the mic. You know, whether you think we're experts now or not, we're definitely much worse then. And we set out on this mission. You know what? Let's go meet people who we think have it figured out, learn about mental fortitude from them. And so we started with friends and family, right? We interviewed Rachel and Noah and Kunin and people we thought in our lives exercise mental fortitude. One thing would lead to the next. We lead to this. Oh, who could you introduce me to? Who could you introduce us to that person, to that person, that person, that person. And next thing you know, Sam and I are like, wow, we're getting listeners. Wow, people want to come on the pod. Wow. People are really intrigued by sharing their story and getting vulnerable in a public setting.
One of the most impactful early moments of Elevation Nation to me was when we had the first stranger DM us and say, wow, your conversation that you guys had about feeling lost as a young adult really impacted me. I thought I was alone in how I felt. Thank you guys for having that conversation. And at the time, Parker and I thought it was just people that knew us that were listening to the podcast, but I will never forget who it was. Still follow her on Instagram, and she's a friend of ours when we see her. She was the first person that we did not know at the time that DM'd us and said, thank you for making an impact. And I remember looking at Parker and saying, no matter how hard this has been and will be, the fact that we were able to impact and influence one person's life in a positive way made every single thing worth it. And now, how incredible is it, Parks, that we get to speak around the country, we get to have our voices heard around the world, and we have people reaching out to us in person, virtually, letting us know how much mental fortitude has helped impact their lives. I think that's beautiful.
I think it is beautiful, but the funny thing is Sam still thinks that, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what we're doing with this thing. I don't know. And I'm like, all right, well, at least you can rely on your mental fortitude. You know who you are. You know what you want, at least a little bit, and you know what inspires you. Let's keep leaning on that and keep pushing. And so to Sam's point, there have been moments like that where we got that DM or we got asked to do a speaking gig or someone reached out and said, hey, can I come on the pod? That came along the way. And obviously we're here in 2025 now. We've recorded almost 400 episodes. We've welcomed over 200 elevators to the nation. We've spoken across the country in groups as small as 10, as big as groups of 500. And we are bringing this thing, this mission, this movement to life. But it's taken time and consistency and hard work. And while we interview all these people and learn about mental fortitude, and if you're still listening to this episode, just know that Sam and I want to be people who are not just talking the talk, but walking the walk too with you as you are chasing your dreams, because we're doing it right alongside you, chasing ours. And so it's really, really special to be able to be alongside you in this journey. But just know that we're not stopping. We will continue to elevate. We will continue to exercise mental fortitude, and we will continue to find ways to help you along that way. And if it's just as simple as tuning into a 5-second episode or clip on Instagram, whatever, so be it. But that is the mission here, man. 5 years, and I will say, not a lot of money to show for it, but that's not the point. That is not the point.
Not the point. Elevator shout outs. This is our recap episode. This is a reintroduction of who we are. I'm going to have to give an elevator shout out to Elevators 0. That's Parker and myself.
That's so corny, shouting at us.
All right, fine. Elevator number 1. We'll throw it all the way back. Joey Lane. Joey's reestablished himself. Multiple cities, multiple careers. Captain Ohio State basketball team. He was our first elevator, our first friend that took a chance on us and gave us some of his time, believed in us wholeheartedly, has come to some of our events, has spoken with us, and has just absolutely crushed the real world. And so, Joey, thanks for being the first elevator.
Thanks, Joey. It was a pleasure having you on multiple times. It wasn't just being the first elevator, but we have recorded multiple episodes with you. I think the in-person podcast is good. I like it. You need your own mic. I need my own mic. And we need a real studio. We're getting there, Elevation Nation. One day, we'll have a studio where we'll have actual professionals who know what they're doing help us create the content and film us and help us craft this thing. But for now, we still come to you from our bedrooms, just as we've done all 5 years. And with that, Elevation Nation,
until next week, peace.